Coming to you from the swinging city, others call it the Big Smoke, and for those in the know, of course I'm talking about the beautiful city of London, England, where Orbiter Travel is showing you our choices for the top 10 most popular attractions in this historic city. Make sure to stick around to the end as we'll share with you a bonus attraction you're going to love when visiting London. Easily one of the most popular parks in all of London, and there are many to choose from, Hyde Park was established back in 1536 by King Henry VIII. The park's land, which had been a part of Westminster Abbey, was used by the king as a hunting ground. A little over 100 years later in 1637, Hyde Park opened to the public and quickly became a popular destination for Londoners. Over the years a number of duels with pistols took place in the park, and in 1851 the Crystal Palace was built to house the Great Exhibition. Because of its layout and proximity inside of a major metropolis, Hyde Park is in many ways the transatlantic cousin to New York City's Central Park. Definitely a must-see if you're visiting London. Located in London's city of Westminster, Westminster Abbey is one of the most recognized and famous churches in the United Kingdom. Many royals have been crowned in Westminster Abbey, going all the way back to William the Conqueror in 1066. Since then every English monarch's coronation has taken place at the Abbey, and it's been the home to over a dozen royal weddings. Over 3,000 people are buried at Westminster Abbey, including many of the most prominent figures in British history. This includes 16 monarchs, 8 prime ministers and scores of other high-ranking British luminaries. Westminster Abbey was heavily damaged during a German Blitz in 1940, but the damage was not fatal and the beautiful church survived the war. Whether it be numerous theatres, restaurants and coffee shops, or the many outstanding music clubs and music shops, the Soho area in London's famous West End is certainly something to behold. As with Hyde Park, we shine the spotlight on King Henry VIII, who back in 1536 spearheaded the development of farmland in the city of Westminster, and this development ultimately became Soho. Initially it was the aristocracy and nobility that made the Soho area fashionable. And since the 19th century it has been one of the premier entertainment districts in all of London. And despite some of its more notorious, how do we say, adults-only establishments, Soho also lays claim to a slew of beautiful churches and cathedrals. Sinners, saints, and all in between. Rejoice, as everyone can find something fun to see and do in Soho. Rolling in at number 7 is the London Eye, also known by its proper name, the Millennium Wheel. With well over 3 million visitors every year, the London Eye is easily the most popular of the paid tourist attractions in all of England. At the time of its opening in 2000, it was the world's tallest Ferris wheel, a distinction it held for 6 years. And to this day the London Eye offers the highest and best 360-degree public view of London. And here's a fun little fact, the London Eye was originally intended to be just a temporary attraction, but a couple of years after its opening it was granted its permanent status. Over the last 20 years more than 30 million people have taken flight on the amazing London Eye. Coming in at number 6 is arguably the most recognizable bridge in the world, London's Tower Bridge. And despite its appearance, it's not quite as old as you may think. Construction on the mighty bridge began in 1886, and it was officially opened to the public in 1894. It was intentionally designed to look older so it would blend in more congruently with London's historic buildings, most notably the Tower of London, which is nearby. The Tower Bridge was designed to open up to allow ships of any size to pass through. On average the bridge opens up a few times per day, so your chances of watching the bridge in action are quite good any day of the week. And tours are available to go to the top of the bridge and to view the massive steam engines powering the Great Bridge. Coming in strong at number 5, no trip to London, especially for first-time visitors, would be complete without a trip to the world-famous Piccadilly Circus. Much like New York City's Times Square, Piccadilly Circus is instantly recognizable with its bright neon signs and high-definition screens that advertise pretty much everything under the sun. Coca-Cola has had a famous sign there going all the way back to 1954. A bustling commercial area dating back to the 17th century, Piccadilly Circus is home to countless shops, restaurants, and cultural attractions, including the famous Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum. Considered by many the heart of London's West End. If you are enjoying this video and love to travel, please be sure to subscribe to the Untitled Travel channel, and ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos. Back to our list, with over 300 shops, scores of restaurants and other attractions, and over 500,000 visitors every single day, Oxford Street is easily the busiest and most famous of England's many popular shopping districts. Located entirely inside of London's city of Westminster, Oxford Street, which has gone by many different names over the years, actually dates back to the 12th century. The Christmas season is an especially popular time to visit Oxford Street, as no expense is spared in decorating the entire district in the Yuletide spirit. And this includes literally millions of Christmas lights. And like many English landmarks, Oxford Street and the surrounding area was subject to numerous bombings during World War II. But not surprisingly, the brave people of London, and all of England, never wavered from defending their country and rebuilding once the war was over. Coming in at number 3 is what many Londoners believe is the most popular landmark in the United Kingdom, the Great Clock Tower Big Ben at the north end of Westminster Palace. Construction of the Great Tower and Clock started in 1843. Many do not realise that Big Ben is actually the name of the largest of the 5 bells inside the clock tower. But over the years the entire Great Clock of Westminster has simply become known as Big Ben. Weighing a hefty 13.5 tons, music aficionados will appreciate knowing that Big Ben, the giant bell, sings out in a booming E-natural tone. Known for its reliability for keeping time, 2 of the clock's dials were damaged by a German bombing raid in 1941. Originally known as Buckingham House, named after the Duke of Buckingham in 1703, Buckingham Palace is the official London residence of the royal family. It is also the primary headquarters taking care of the monarch's administrative activities. Buckingham Palace came into existence back in 1761 when King George III acquired the property as a private retreat for Queen Charlotte. The residence was referred to as the Queen's House, but the name Buckingham Palace has been used since 1791. The palace was targeted and bombed numerous times during World War II and heavily damaged, most notably in 1940 when the palace chapel was destroyed. Buckingham Palace remains a major national symbol for England and a focal point for the British people, during periods of both national mourning or jubilant celebration. Coming in at number 1 on our list is the National Gallery, located in London's Trafalgar Square. Most recently ranked as the 7th most visited museum in the world, the National Gallery is home to upwards of 3,000 paintings, as well as other works of art, including numerous well-known sculptures. Some of the paintings date back as far as the middle of the 13th century. Among the more famous artists to have their works displayed inside the National Museum are Michelangelo, Van Gogh, Monet and Rembrandt. Currently valued at over $100 million, Vincent van Gogh's Sunflowers is the most valuable and popular painting in the museum. And the National Gallery is entirely free to the public, which makes it a definite must-see on any trip to London. Earlier in the video I promised you a bonus London attraction, and that's an easy one, as no trip to London would be complete without visiting the amazing Tower of London. Located in central London on the north bank of the Thames River, ground broke on the tower by William the Conqueror over 1,000 years ago in 1077. The Tower of London's official name is Her Majesty's Royal Palace and Fortress, and despite it initially being built as a royal palace and an impenetrable defensive fortress, it proved just as adept at keeping prisoners inside as keeping invaders outside. To this day the Tower of London remains the home to the crown jewels, which it has guarded for many centuries. Today the crown jewels are valued at over $30 billion. Another fun fact is that black ravens have always been kept and cared for at the Tower of London. Superstition believes that if the ravens were to disappear, the tower would crumble and the entire nation would suffer great peril. Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great travel videos and be sure to subscribe to the Untitled Travel channel and ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos.